What's going on? This video I'm going to be going over pretty much everything that it is behind a $1,900 a day info product. Ever since producing over $1 million in info product revenue, this is probably the most in-depth video I've ever made regarding this client, and probably the most in-depth funnel and psychology based video I've ever made regarding, anything that orients growth. This video is going to be going over content, the actual funnel, the principles behind the funnel, and a little bit more just sauce and insights on what it is that has been growing this client for 2 years now, getting him to 55K MRR consistently, and also a lot of the stuff behind his content and why his content does so well and why we're getting consistent leads almost every single day. But hopefully this video helps. Enough holding you. I'm going to get right into it right now. So to get right into the video, this is an entire PDF that I made going over, this info product that is currently doing 55K a month. We have brought it all the way from 8K to 55K a month, and it's averaging about $1,800 to $1,900 right now. And all this PDF is going to do is break down literally everything, what the funnel is, all the strategy behind the funnel, what we're doing, our day-to-day operations, what content looks like, what email sequences look like, what the actual community looks like, all of that. And then, all the little secrets and the nitty-gritty parts of what builds, a funnel that produces $1,900 a day. So the first is the 5 stages. This is essentially just breaking down, what your funnel is into stages. So that first stage is going to be traffic, and then your split, where are your CTAs going, your lead magnet, which is, one of the converting mechanisms that we have, the sequence, which is another converting mechanism, and then the trial, which, this is obviously different per offer. If you don't offer, a free or a paid community, then a trial isn't really going to matter. Let's say for an example, you're doing a high ticket. You can't really do a free trial for a high ticket. This is, obviously for this funnel's case. So this is what the actual conversion funnel looks like. It goes from social content to bio links, content CTAs, which I'll get into, free course, and then the free Discord, all the way to the free trial. And then if they choose to convert, then they get into the premium community. So as you can kind of see, content CTAs go straight to free trials in the 7 days, which I'm going to get into later into this video. But just, not to get too into it just yet, wherever your platform is and however warm and cold your platforms are, audience wise, that's going to decide what you do regarding CTAs. Is it a soft CTA to something that's a lot easier to convert to, there's a lot less friction, or are they warmer and you're going to do CTAs that, are a little bit more frictionful, and there's going to be a little bit more of a push to get them into, whatever that is that you're trying to convert them to. Like I said, I'm going to get a lot more into and explain it a lot more fuller later in this video, but this is kind of what our funnel looks like. This is what we're running right now, and this is what we've been running for the past 2 years. It's just content to a free course to a free Discord, all the way to the premium community. So the 5 levers, this is pretty much the strategy and the overall principles of, this funnel. Why does it work so well? These are pretty much the reasons. One is we push value first very, very well. Everything that we give away, it has genuine value and it's useful on its own. Like the free course, for example, it's a 6-hour free course that genuinely could bring, someone from unprofitable to a profitable trader, for this funnel's example. The free course, like it says here, already moves someone closer to the outcome that they want. The paid room can only be better. So the reason we have such a strong value being pushed first is because that's what sets the bar. That's what sets the expectation. If this is free content, like if you're someone going into a community or some free resource and it's super good and it literally costs nothing, then you can only think, holy shit, this premium or this paid offer has to be better. Another thing too with your offer is give away all of the value, away for free. Everything that it is that you do, let's say you're a trader, give away your strategy, give away all of, the nitty gritty details of what it is that you do, and sell the implementation of everything that your free offer gives away. You know what I mean? If you're selling, like I said, for a trading example, if you're giving away your strategy and all of, what it is that you do throughout your day to day to make 10K a month, give that away. And then sell the implementation of that strategy, keeping someone on track to become profitable. Lever 2 is the community. It's not necessarily like another step. You are getting incorporated inside of this creator's community. You're becoming part of their family, if you want to call them that, whenever you join this free Discord. it just gives your ICP somewhere to be. It gives them people to be with. It gives them also a sneak peek into, for this, creator's example, it gives them a sneak peek into what that premium offer is going to look like. So, as it says here, also, it's more of a touch point outside of just the regular, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter feed, whatever it is. And it just adds on and stacks more value onto, that free course. The free Discord is only going to give away, more value. So moving on, lever 3, which is social proof. This just removes uncertainty. Uncertain people copy similar people. Students' results and trade of the day are not bragging. It's just evidence that someone like them, your ICP, is already doing it. It's going to be a lot easier to go into something knowing that people just like you have already converted and gone to that dream outcome and that dream desire through the same process, through the implementation of what it is that, you are selling. Like I said, if you're giving away a strategy, you can sell that implementation of the strategy through a premium community and get, your ICPs to that desired outcome through the implementation. Lever 4 is endowment and loss aversion. This is just the free trial. You're giving them, the entire premium community just, a trial. You're giving it to them for a certain amount of time, and then they have to pay to continue to get, what it is that they wanted. It makes it easy. You know what I mean? It makes it so easy to convert because they're getting what it is that they would be getting if they were paying, nothing less, nothing different. And for the trading example, it makes it really easy because let's say that they go on a 3-day win streak while trading with you. If you're a trader, they're going to be very prone to converting now because you gave them real results, like the people that are already inside of their community. And then lever 5 is ICP profile. This is just constant market research, means that we understand, basically, we know the buyer. We know them probably better than they do to an extent. That profile just drives the hooks, the copy, the offer, and the price. Knowing the niche well is what makes everything else easier. The better that you know your ICP, the better your offer is, and the better your offer is, everything else is easier downhill. You know what I mean? If your offer is truly super good and you have a bunch of social proof, going back to lever 3, then it makes everything so much easier because you know your niche so well. You know who you're selling to so well that the offer is, so desirable that they just need it. And then you add on, that free trial, and it makes everything so much easier. It makes everything frictionless. This is why I love this, funnel so much. It's because it's just such a good system. It works so well. Everything is stacked and built on top of each other, and it works so well and converts so well with, certain audiences and certain ICPs. It's just great. I love it. But understand, all in all, to cap off, lever 5, just know your ICP, know who it is you're selling to, know their day-to-day, what are their pains, what are their desires, what is all of that. So moving on, this is now content, short form. So for short form content, you need to grab attention and you need to pay it off fast. Basically, with your hook, kind of as it says here, within the first 1 to 2 seconds, grab their attention and then create intrigue and then deliver the hit immediately. Whenever we are doom scrolling, we want something that is stimulating. We want dopamine hits. That's all we're looking for. We're just looking for something that's going to stimulate and entertain us. So you need to deliver that very quickly after grabbing attention and building that intrigue. Converting short form, as it says here, comes down to knowing your ICP. To go back to lever 5, what do they want, what hurts right now, and what is relevant of the week. Get that right, and then the format, as it says right here, takes care of it. Basically, just stay up to date. Understand what it is that your ICP wants and their desires, and what is hurting them right now, and then what is relevant. A good thing that we've been doing for trading is creating, on Sundays, our client will create like weekly news recaps that goes over the next week of trading. And he's like, this is what to prepare for, this is what to look out for. And it's all relevant. You know what I mean? It all relates back to what all traders are going to be going into the following week, all of the news, all of the relevant data that they need to know. So just an example for traders, their desires, consistent explainable results, a process they can repeat alone, to stop guessing on entries, and the proof that it works for normal people, and then the pain points, blown accounts and no system, conflicting advice everywhere, no time to sit on the charts for some people, and then they've been burned by a guru before. So this is, what your content could relate to on top of it, on top of the relevancy. Just speak to what it is that they want. Speak to what it is that they're trying to fix and what it is that they want to get out of trading. And then a big thing too with short form and overall just content in general is volume. Whenever our client posts, he's always looking back at a week or, bi-weekly and seeing what worked well. And he's been able to grab, patterns that have worked for his videos to grow his audience and go viral, more and more and more. An example for him is car videos. Whenever he shows off his expensive cars or watches or some materialistic stuff, most of those videos hit really well and they hit the algorithm really well. So we post those, weekly or bi-weekly. So he knows that he's going to have viral videos going, consistently. So his audience is going to be growing consistently and we're going to be getting more leads consistently. So that is short form. To move on to long form content, this is treat every video as a high value content offer, which is an HVCO. Give them a lot of value and nurture them extremely well. Because with long form content, you have them for at least 5 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean? You're going to have a lot more time with them than a short form video. So you can build a relationship with them through that content, through those long form YouTube videos. A framework that we like to go through is title and thumbnail. This is what grabs them. This is what grabs their attention. This is what makes them click on the video. And then with your intros, within the first 0 to 2 minutes, build that intrigue. Say all the right things. You know what I mean? Build that intrigue. Give them and say what it is that they want. Make sure that, you're saying all the right topics and you're going through the video as well. And then after your intro, this is continuous value. Just keep giving hits, keep giving them value, and keep giving them and building interest with your content. Keep giving them stuff that they want. Make your video actually sound useful and give them useful information. And in the end, that's just a CTA, which I'll get into pretty soon. Down here, we have the hybrid case, and this is X. So with Twitter, this could be short form and long form. With Threads, you can get really informational and really good content through Twitter Threads. And then you can also have smaller, more short form tweets that are just like trade recaps that take 30 seconds to a minute to go through. Less duration, content, if you want to call it that. So this is long form. Treat it like an HVCO pretty much. Give them so much value and nurture them so much more, because by doing that, you're going to be able to build such warmer traffic that you can just direct straight to the free trial. In our example of this funnel, which I believe, gets into here right now. So send warm traffic and cold traffic to different places. Your colder traffic is going to be short form content. That's going to be, your Instagram and TikTok, sometimes even your Twitter, audiences, because they're not spending as much time with you. That's really all it comes down to. Right here, as it says, is the most part people copy wrong. A bio link and story CTA look like the same thing, but they catch people at completely different temperatures. So they get sent to completely different places, which is true. Someone who goes through your stories on Instagram is going to be a lot warmer than someone who goes to your bio link on Instagram. They're going to be, a lot colder in that case. So make sure you're sending people where they should and need to be going. For Instagram, we always CTA in the bio the free course, because it's free, it's frictionless, it's easy to get. It gets, their name and their contact info, which goes into our data. And then on stories, we always CTA the free trial, because people who are viewing stories are always going to be warmer. They've probably followed, they probably know you already, they're probably already looking at your current stories. So understand, the warmth of your entire audience. Know who they need to know, where they need to be sent to. And then for, YouTube, they're a lot warmer. Like I said, they've been seeing you for at least 5 to 10 minutes already going through that video. So your CTA should go straight to the free trial. If you're positioning your YouTube content as an HVCO, giving them lots of value, then their next step should be that free trial. Still sending them to that higher tier, but still low friction conversion, because once they're through that free trial, they're the closest step to paying, and that HVCO sets them up to get them to that free trial. Now for the email sequence, this is obviously, it says right here, the actual salesperson. That's the way that I like to think of it as, because you have what looks like our clients sending them emails daily. Now, people might already know that it's just an automation running, or it's not actually him typing out these emails every single day, which is fine, because these emails are still delivering value. They're getting rid of objections. They're building trust and authority by showing student results and results that have already been made inside of his community. Example, if they're going through the free course, we're trying to get them to the free trial now through these emails. So we show a bunch of student names, a bunch of student results. We show what inside of the community looks like. We start objection handling. All of that stuff to get them closer to that free trial. Now, if they're going to the free trial, they also receive an email sequence, but this is, once again, just a total trust and social proof, blast to them, because all we want to do is make this free trial and make this premium community seem as the most valuable thing that they can, put themselves into. We want to make it look like that this person, this student, will go into the community and get that desirable outcome as long as they follow, the steps that's needed. And if they do follow those steps that are needed, then they are going to get that desirable outcome because the offer is good. So, show that with inside of your email sequences. Now, continuous growth, we've been running this funnel for about 2 years now. This is essentially how we've been getting continuous growth with it. And it's the 40-40-20 rule, which is 40% of our effort goes towards our audience, 40% of our effort goes towards our offer, and then 20% is creativity, which is like iterations and stuff like that. As you can see down here, new eyes and list growth, that's the only input that we're putting into the funnel. The more inputs that we get, the more leads that we're going to get, and the more conversions that we're going to get. This just compounds our growth, and it keeps our growth going. As long as our socials grow, then our MRR is going to grow because we already have a working funnel. The product and the room itself, as it says here, this is just what decides your trial conversion. Marketing cannot fix a shitty offer. That is one big thing. If your product does not deliver and your product is shit, you are not going to get a 30% trial conversion. You might get a 5 or 10%, and then your churn and retention is going to suck because it's really hard to market a shitty product. It really just comes down to that. If your product is shit, then marketing at that point just gets people into it, and then they convert back, and then you have a shitty reputation. And if people and word starts getting out that you have a shitty product and you really just do not do what you say you do, and your marketing's better than your product, and you have more hype than product focused, deliverables towards your business, then you're going to get a bad rep. And word of mouth is always going to overput any sort of marketing that you do because, if your best friend says, oh yeah, this guy's offer was really fucking bad and I hated it, that's not going to go anywhere. Whenever their marketing is not going to go anywhere with you because you're like, oh yeah, my friend just told me that your offer's shit. And that's always going to be the hierarchy, compared to their marketing. So for 20% on the creative, this is just the look, the format, editing, it's direction, it's matters. It's the biggest one that people overinvest. Basically, if you were a hype focused business, meaning that your offer was shit, then it would be 40% audience, 40% creative, and 20% offer. And when your offer lacks, your marketing just doesn't work well, and your offer sucks, and you don't make a lot of money, and you don't get continuous growth. So right here, creative is the most visible work. So it feels like progress, but a beautiful edit in front of a wrong audience with a weak offer still converts to 0, which is absolutely true. And then this is tracking the whole path. This just comes down to data tracking. Understand, what your funnels are doing. Understand the performance that your websites are getting. Understand where your highest quality leads are coming from, who converts the best. And then also just understand end-to-end conversion rates. Know your viewers all the way to paid people from week to week, because then you can look back and start getting baselines and start getting KPIs and understand whenever a promotion fails or a promotion does really good. Understand when you have bad months and bad weeks, because that really is going to tell you the tell of your info product. Just understanding what your baselines are at and what typically conversions look like. And then also a big thing too is conversions per platforms right here. Just understand what your highest quality leads are, because then you can start directing them to the places that they need to go. Maybe X is your highest quality leads. Maybe they convert the best. So rather than having an HVCO link inside of your funnel, you can make it a free trial link. An example for us, our YouTube is our highest quality leads. So they all get directed to the free trial rather than the free course. Then last but not least is research your audience. Understand who your market is. And this goes back to lever 5. Know what is relevant now and know what it is that you need to say to your ICP to get them to convert. This just comes down to, doing your market research, doing your due diligence to understand your current market and understanding what your current ICP is struggling with. You know what I mean? And this can change month after month and week after week, especially in a stock market that's super volatile and, has a lot of economic and outside worldly stuff to it. For an example, right now as I'm recording this, there's the Iran war, and that's super relevant within the trading markets. So that's something that we can speak to a lot, with our copy, because it's something that is probably keeping a lot of traders back. So in our copy, we could be like, we know you're going through such and such with the Iran war. This is what student did while going through this war. our client is on a 17-day win streak going through this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Here's the free trial, you know, see for yourself what the results actually are like. Just stuff like that. Keep up to date with your environment and keep up to date with your ICPs. But yeah, this is pretty much everything that we have done. This is the science, this is the psychology, this is the funnel, this is everything that, like I told you, this is everything that a $1,900 a day funnel looks like. This is the back end, this is everything. But I hope this video helped. I know it's been a bit of a long video. We're almost at 25 minutes. And if you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, please give me a sub. And if you want to get in contact or you have any questions, just let me know in my IG below. But yeah, I hope this video really did help. Peace.